when I was in those industries, I became a new person. I had a new contact grid. I had all new friends. I had a new mindset. Every industry has a new language that you have to learn. If you're entering into an industry right now with your dream or your vision that you want to resurrect and it's new to you, wouldn't you want to find people to put around you that know the language? They already know people of prominence in that industry. Yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it? Well, on the other side of that, let's say you were in an industry for 20 years and you want to go resurrect your dream and you're going, but I could use some cash flow. Well, then go back and leverage who you know and what you know in that old industry and help some company that's new, that's entering the industry you're exiting. People don't do that. They say, well, I'm done with that industry, and they walk away. And they forget about the fact that who they know and what they know in that industry is of value to somebody else. So you can actually monetize the contact grid you were willing to walk away from, all the knowledge you have that you're going, well, I don't need that where I'm going. But you know how little time it takes to be on somebody's board and get 3% of their company and maybe even get a little something every month for being on an occasional Skype or Zoom call to give them some feedback? What I'm going to be showing you is how to be leveraging things that you are ready to throw away to go after your new dream. And it's kind of hard to go after a new dream, especially if you've got a family in tow and they're going, hey, how do we eat in the meantime? It's going to take you, and it always takes, let me tell you this, it always takes more time and more money than you think for any given company that you're going to go out there and launch or any given vision. So, the focus that you want to have really in life is set this way. There's a billionaire that came into my life, and I had 1 hour every Monday for four years. And every 3 months, he would come to Orlando, and we'd spend 2 days together. And we would speed coach business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, and even consultants. It goes on and on. But we would speed investors. We would speed coach them for 20 minutes, and we would completely reverse engineer their dream. That means you want to know the beginning from the end and the end from the beginning. And we would half the time rebrand them, completely rewrite their mission and vision statements, lay out a corporate engineering for how they could raise the capital to go to where they want to go, show them what the capital development plan would look like in 20 minutes. You may say, if you end up responding and emailing me at dlward153@gmail.com, I'll repeat it a couple times, and you say, man, I would like to be coached on your show, that's fine. We can do that. We can make that work. This show is going to be doing a lot of interviews with a lot of people, but within the next couple of months, we're going to be shifting this into a live format, and that's exactly what I want to do. Because while I would be coaching you, for example, the people that are listening, they're going to hear things that are in common to what they're working on, because there's a lot of commonalities. I don't care if it's a for-profit or a nonprofit. Every nonprofit needs to be profitable too, or it can't do what it wants to do. Try giving out of your lack. So this is going to be about you. This is going to be about your dream. I just wanted to do something that mentions some of the areas that we're going to go over. Who knows how many years this could go. I'm going to speak that. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something that I did in an industry back in 1864. I am very old and very wise. Let's go back to 1984. And I started an industry that had no roots. It had no trade organization. It had no trade magazines. It had nothing but liability. It had liability. And it had a version of an industry that was put out of business in 1979. So I was coming into an industry that had a bad rap, but the technology had completely changed. So I had to go out and educate the marketplace and convince them this was not what they thought it was anymore, that it completely changed. Well, whatever you do with your company, be it a for-profit or nonprofit, you've got to cast a large vision. So I moved from DC, where I had 7 salons. This was the suntanning business at the time. I had 7 salons there. I was full-time in the construction business, selling pre-engineered wall panels, roof trusses, floor panel, millwork, lumber, you name it, to land tract developers, big developers, thousands of houses. And so I said, I'm going to walk away from this market. I'm going to Ocean City, Maryland, a beach town, and sell suntans. Now, everyone thought I was nuts. That's why I knew I was right. But when I went there, I said, I changed the name of my company. I said, okay, Tan Seekers International. People will go, oh, sounds like you're a big company. In America's Tanning Experts was part of the brand. And that was to give a superlative statement. It was also to cause people to go, man, maybe he does know. He's got the balls to be able to say he's the best. America's Tanning Experts. Okay. Well, here's the point of going down that track. I started to do radio and billboards and TV and all that stuff, a lot of print. And in my radio ads, we would say things like, well, every 3 days somewhere in North America, we are opening a new salon. Well, when I started saying that, it was not true. 4 years later, I was opening a new salon somewhere every 3 days in North America. We had them in 48 lower contiguous states, and I had them in Alaska, but I didn't have one in Hawaii. But the point of it was I had to cast a large vision, and I had to speak into existence what I wanted. Now, here's something, no clue how long I've gone into this call, but I'll get somebody will let me know. But here's the thought that came to mind, is you really have to let this dream become so tangible on the inside that you can taste it, you can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it. And then when you go to speak about it, people on the outside go, woo, I felt that. This is going to happen. And the key is to be able to take it and put it into very short, powerful sound bites. On this program, I will be teaching you how to talk to money. And money has a very short attention span. That's the bottom line. It has whatever it's doing today, it could be an hour from now, change its mind and leave this and move over to here. Why? Money always wants to be doing something than it's doing today. I'm going to teach you some of the things money listens for. And what questions does money ask you? Well, money wants to know a couple of things. When am I returning? And how much more money is coming back home with me? That's if it's a for-profit. And money is not looking for interest, it's looking for multiples. I'll teach on that when I get into corporate engineering and capital developing, when I'm helping somebody that calls in sometimes and says, I'm trying to raise my first 5 million. What's the approach and what do I do? Well, you'll get to overhear the strategies that I've been able to use on over 400 companies so far personally. And we're going to be able to cover all the things that are needed that you're not going to learn in a textbook or at a university. Some of the people that have been my mentors, they've got 20 and 30 books out. Some of them are being used as textbooks, university programs. They're the people that when they coach at Boeing or at FEMA or ROTC or Cherokee Nation or the Pentagon or the World Alliance of Mayors, when they are teaching there, they shut down because they want everyone to hear what they're teaching, because this is stuff that's real-time knowledge. Most universities are teaching things out of a book that was written about success 5 years before, or actually written about a book that was written 5 years before about a success that took place 10 years before or further back. And that's all well and good. But I always want what I'm sharing to be real time. This is what's being taught to the big boys now. And so I'm going to probably bring some of those coaches and fortune trainers on here like I do to my CEO Club's events. People go, how do you know these people? Once again, favor. How do you get that guy? He's $25K a day to do an hour Zoom or Skype call for you. We're friends. And people, they want to know sometimes, how did you develop friends in every industry? You got people in Hollywood. You got people in politics. You got people, you know what? Making friends is the easy part. It's almost hard not to. You almost got to want to not to. And here's how you do it. Ask about them. If they ask about you, tell them a little. If I go to an event and somebody says, what do? I go, I'm a golden connector. I'm a lot more than a golden connector. But who doesn't want to know a connector? And you know what happens when you say something like that? The less you say, the more people hear. That's why this is not going to be a show with me doing a monologue. This is going to be a show of interaction, spurring things out of people, drawing things out of people. Impartation is actually when you reach into a person, you pull something out that's been on their heart, and you go, isn't this what you really want to do? And they go, yeah. How did you see that? Well, you were skirting the issues. I was able to read between the lines. And they go, yeah, that's what I want to do. Here's a good little way to start heading towards the closeout of this session with you. One time I was in a LA Fitness, and I should be getting them to pay me something for the little plug there, but I was in LA Fitness, I was in the sauna, and I was sitting there about 10 minutes, all to myself, working up a good sweat. Going, oh. In comes somebody that sits down. I get a nudge on the inside of me, say something to him. Oh, man, I just want to sweat. He just wants to sweat. But the nudge wouldn't go away. So I go, who are you? I don't even look at the person. I just go, who are you? That's really polite and outgoing, right? And people don't know who they are half the time, so they tell you what they do. Okay, how long have you done it? 27 years. How long have you hated it? 26 years. Why are you doing it? I know how. Did you ever go through hell? That's the kind of question that will probably come back from me. And they'll look and go, oh yeah, a couple times. Okay. What if you went through hell for a greater purpose than just you being punished by the universe or something? What if you went through it because maybe you were being entrusted with a journey and it was expected that you would have the heart to go back and teach other people how to come through the same hell you came through? Oh, man. And what if I could show you how to do that, profit from doing it, but not at the expense of those you served? Now the guy in the sauna is going, man, I could do that the rest of my life. I said, you don't have to tell me what it is. He goes, no, I want to. I said, I got to take a shower, man. He goes, could I take you to dinner after this? I said, yeah, but I'm taking my shower by myself. So anyways, end up going out to dinner that night and laying out the whole foundation. We pulled the dream out of him. That's fun. That's what we may be doing with some of you. You may know what you wanted to be when you're 8 years old, and that may actually still be tied to what you want to do in the future. It's really funny. Did you know that the word desire is a Greek word? Did you know that that word actually means of the Father? Did you know that there might be, what if, two fathers in this universe, the father of life and the father of lies, just for argument's sake, okay? So you get a desire in your heart and say, man, that's just what I want to do. And people go, well, how do I know if that's a desire from the father of life? How good is the intention behind it to educate, to empower, to edify, to lift up, to build, to create? Yeah, all right, father of life. How will I know if that desire in my heart is from the father of lies? It's going to want to do the opposite. It's going to want to take away from the magnificence of anything the father of life brought into life. Oh, okay. So now, what's that big fat book, starts with a B, ends with an E? Bible. What if the Bible is right? Because it says you are to follow the desires of your heart. That means those things placed in you by the father of life. What if? And you go, wow. If I do, that's going to be able to impact a lot of people. Well, yes, it will impact a lot of people. And the more people you impact, the more it's going to impact your life. The more profitable you will be. And the more pleasure you'll have every day when you open your eyes and you get up and you wake up. And, I believe that whoever is going to be listening to this particular message right about now is going, I'm ready to stink and resurrect my dream. Well, if so, you can go to donwardconsultant.com and